Alright, hey YouTube, today I'm going to be showing you the first part of my $0 FX series that I teach you how to do video effects. The first thing I want to show you how to do is set up your workspace we're going to be using. We're going to be using Linux Mint. You can use Ubuntu if you want. It works the same way, or Ubuntu. But today I'm going to show you the easiest and safest way to install is with a virtual machine. It'll be slower rendering and you might not be able to view your stuff live as well, but at least you'll be able to do it. So you can still follow along these steps if you're installing from the hard drive or dual booting, but you'll need to read some of the pages I'll have in the description on how to do that. So first thing I'm going to do, okay, looks like my computer doesn't like recording that much. Okay, so first thing you're going to need to do is download Virtualbox, of course. You're also going to need to download the Virtualbox extensions. I'll have links to both of them in the description. To install the extensions, just click File, hold on, File, and then Preferences. Wait for the box to come up. And then go to Extensions. And then see it says I have it already installed. You'll click this button, which is Add Package, and then you'll browse to wherever you downloaded it from. And you'll click OK. It might ask you yes or no to add, and you say yes or agree to all that stuff, and then you'll be good to go. Alright, and then you just click OK. Alright, now that we got Virtualbox all set up, if you didn't already, you have to install it. Like I said before, there's a link down below. If it asks you when you're installing if you want to install device drivers or anything, just say yes. All that stuff's required to do it this way. And now let's actually get started. You also need the latest version of Linux Mint. You can download it from the website. You can get the 32-bit version, is probably the best unless you actually know what 64-bit means. In that case, you can actually use it. Okay, well, for type, to say Linux. And then, let's see, they don't have Linux Mint, so let's use Ubuntu. It's pretty much the same thing, just a few things change. I'm using the 64-bit version just because my computer supports it and it's much faster. So, again, if you don't know, I say just go with the download a 32-bit version and click on just normal Ubuntu. Now for name, we're going to call it, I don't know, we'll call it whatever you want. Video edit. Alright. Now let's click next. Alright, now it says we'll need at least half a gig of RAM. But for video editing, you want to do at least, basically this is how much RAM will be dedicated to just your virtual computer. I'd say at least 2 gigabytes, but the best way to do it is find out how much RAM you actually have, and then you can go from there. See, it will show you right here, I have 16 gigabytes of RAM. I would say if you have at least 4 gigabytes, basically you need to save at least 2 gigabytes for your operating system running in the background. So I have 16, so the most I should probably use would be 14. Sorry, I'm not thinking this morning. But you only need around 4, I'd say. You can always come back and change this later, so I'm just going to go for 4 for now. Okay, and create new virtual disk, yes. Alright, just use the default. Dynamically located means your disk will only take up how much space is used on the hard drive. So like if your hard drive inside your virtual machine is filled up 3 gigabytes, it'll only take up 3 gigabytes on your hard drive. Fixed size means it will take up the maximum amount of space that your hard drive will ever use. I say dynamically is probably the best. So let's just choose that. Okay. You can choose where you want to save it. I'm saving mine on its own hard drive, just so the read and write speed don't mess up with anything that's going on my other hard drive. You can put it basically wherever you want. I say leave it in the default place, but I'm putting it on a separate hard drive just because I want to. And the maximum amount of space it can take up, you put here, 8 gigabytes is the starting space. That's you might want a little bit more. Since I'm having it saved on a different hard drive, this hard drive can hold up to 148 gigabytes. So I'm just going to say 140. And the biggest you can do is 2 terabytes. Alright, create. Alright, now here's our computer setup. Let's go to settings. Alright, now under storage, you'll see here we have 2 tabs. This one's for a CD, this one's for a DVD. Not DVD, this is for a hard drive. Click up here, and click Live CD because we're going to be using a live CD first. I don't know if you have to do this. Okay, and now we're going to click Set up the CD drive. Click here, and choose CD disk. Now we're going to find that ISO that you downloaded earlier, or hopefully downloaded. Mine's on my flash drive. Here it is. Click it. Open. Alright, and let's just uncheck it for now. Never mind. We shouldn't need to have that checked. Alright, so now we have Linux Mint here. We have controller as our hard drive. Let's go through the other options. We shouldn't need any of this. This is where you change your RAM if you want to have more RAM. This is where you can choose how many processors it has. I'll choose 2. Alright, here's acceleration. This is hardware acceleration if your motherboard supports it. We're not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go back and check to make sure we don't need anything else real quick. Network adapter, NAT, that means you can connect to your local computer. We'll need this later on, the USB thing. Okay, shared folder is a folder that appears on both your local machine and your remote machine. So basically if you wanted to edit a video that's on this computer, you could easily import it to Linux, but we'll worry about that a little bit later. Okay, let's click OK. And let's click Start to start it up for the first time. Alright, and here we go. We're about to start it up. This is just telling you basically how you can switch back to your host computer by pressing right control. Let's see, where is... Basically everything you type in will be sent to the machine. And press right control to release it. Alright. Now it's just telling us that we can change the color modes. Okay. And now it's telling us mouse control, click capture. This is telling us basically that our mouse is now directly connected to the virtual machine. Okay, just click don't show this message again because we know what it's saying. Let's try to move this over a little bit. Alright, here we go. Now the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and install it. Okay, it's resizing to our display, very good. Let's go ahead and click install. Now we have this, English, yes, unless you speak another language, better. Alright, 6.1 gigabytes is the least you need to use. Least you need to have, sorry. Continue. Erase disk. Okay, so if you were not using your virtual machine and you want to keep Windows and you want to dual boot, you'll see an option that says like install beside. We don't have this because we're just installing it normally. Also, if you're installing from the disk and you want to erase your hard drive, click erase disk. We're doing this since we're on a virtual machine with a virtual hard drive. So only if you're using a virtual machine or if you want to delete everything on your hard drive, you choose this option. If you want to dual boot, you choose the dual boot option or the install side by side option. Then it will give you a slider so you can choose how much space you want to have on Windows and how much space you want to have on Linux. But again, we're not doing that right now. Right now I'm showing you how to set up the thing with Virtualbox. So go ahead and click install. Alright, this may take a few minutes for it to get started up. It might go a little bit slowly because it's installing while we're setting up the settings. Just pick your time zone. You can click on it and then just press continue. Keyboard layout. You can test it here. Like if you click here and type and the symbols and stuff aren't right, that means you picked the wrong keyboard layout. Continue. Now here's our account information. Type in your name. And then it will be like, and then it will name it for you based on the name of your PC. This is Virtualbox, it's doing that. You can say log in automatically if you don't want to use password to log in. You'll still need to type in a password though. But if you click this login automatically, as soon as you start up your computer, it will automatically be logged in for you. Oops. Make sure they're the same and click continue. gotta wait for it to finish installing. Alright, and when it's done you'll see this. You can either restart or continue testing. We're going to shut it down so we can turn off the installation disk. So you just click Machine, then click Close, then click Power Off Machine, and click OK. Then we'll be back here. Next thing we're going to do, go to Storage. You see where it has right here. Click this. And where is it? I'm trying to remember where something is. Go to Choose Virtual CD. And then browse to where it is, like click C, Program Files, or if you have it copied, you can just paste it in here, and it should show VBox Guest Editions. Click on that. Now we have the Editions thing put in there. Now we're also going to set up our shared folder. Go to Shared Folders, and then click this plus. Now you can pick the folder path of whatever folder you want. It says none selected here. Let's pick Other. I already have a shared folder. I create a new folder. My folders. See, it's called Edit. You can make a new folder with this button if you want, or you can click one that you already have. This folder will be accessible on your virtual machine. You can click Auto Mount, although I'm not sure if it works, if they've implemented that for Linux yet, which is what we're using. So now we're all ready to go. Just go ahead and click OK. Now click OK here. And press Start. Do not show again. That will keep these messages from coming up. And here's what it should look like if it was working correctly. You should be at your desktop, and you should see an icon for the disk. And you should be able to click on it and open up the disk. You'll see a bunch of contents. You'll be able to see the different files on the disk. You need to open up the installer file. Right here. Then click Run in Terminal. It'll ask you for your password. You just go ahead and type that in. That's your login password. Sorry, I typed it in wrong. Alright. Oh, looks like I typed it in wrong again. Okay. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Now I'm just going to go through all this stuff. Type in yes manually. Or remove the old files, since it has Virtualbox support built in, but that's for an older version. Just go wait for this to go through. And what this is actually doing is it's giving us more extensive support for Virtualbox. Alright, installing graphics libraries, everything's done. Press enter to close that. And now we should be able to use the special features of Virtualbox, like, hold on, seamless mode lets us run Linux applications right next to our Windows applications. So as you can see right there, I have YouTube running over here, and this running over there. Alright. And there's Cam Studio I'm using to record this video with. Alright, I can move them around. Now to switch back from this mode, you have to click down here and make sure that's highlighted, the Virtualbox overlay thing. You can press Control F to switch to full screen mode. Oh, sorry, that's the settings. Okay. And scale mode lets you have a window that you can resize. So your computer's in a nice confined box. You can maximize that if you want. Close that. Alright, and then As you see, everything's still contained in here, and there's a list of your files. There's network things. If you had a network drive, you should be able to access them through that. Alright, now we're going to try to get the share set up. As you can see, I have this folder called Edit. Let's see if we can access it in Linux. We're going to make a new file to see, so we'll know if it's actually working. We'll call it test. And inside, let's type something. Hey, it works. Alright, save that. Close that. Alright, so it's not letting us mount it through here. Let's try this. Okay, you should see the name of your share here. It shows you the mount point. I call mine edit. So that's what I'll need to reference when I type it in here. Alright. Sudo mount -t vbox sf. I'm trying to read this off paper. And then the name of your share folder, what it said in beside the path. Okay, and now you need to say where you want to have it on your local computer. That little title thing is right above the apostrophe. That means home folder / edit. Now I have to type my password. Oh, I forgot to make a folder here locally. You also have to, just like you made a folder on your Windows computer, you also make a folder with whatever name you want on your Linux computer. So I'm going to create a new folder and call it edit, just to keep it consistent. And that new folder is what you type in at the end of this line. So I pressed up to scroll through up to it again. You can press enter, and now you should see your file. Clicking display to show it as a text file, and there we go. We now have access to our text file. So if we had a video, we could easily just load it up in there, and we'll be able to edit it, or view it, or watch it, or do whatever on our virtual Linux machine. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to try to make it automatically mount it every time we start up a computer. So type in sudo gedit to open up this. It's a text editor with super user permissions. Now, when you have it open, you'll need to open a file. I'll show you where to find it. You have to click that hard drive thing and then click etc and type in, and it should be RC local. If you start typing, it will open up a box, and then that box will scroll to the closest file with that name. Alright, and here it is. Currently all it has is exit at the end. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy this line. Copy. Paste. This is not imperative, you don't have to do this, so it'll just make it easier so you don't have to mount it each time. Okay, close that. Now let's restart the computer and see if it's mounted. And my video recorder is going a little bit crazy right now.